Good morning, everybody. My name is Alex Padilla. I'm honored to serve as your United States Senator, and it is my pleasure to stand here alongside Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, who's been doing excellent work here locally on housing insecurity. And I'm proud to be joined by Congressman Ted Lieu, Deputy Secretary Wickrama, CSAC Executive Committee member and County Supervisor Luis Alejo, former colleague in the state legislature, HACLA President Guthrie, and other advocates working together to help address both the homelessness and housing challenges here in the region. Now I'm here not just to see, but to highlight the solutions that have proven so successful here at the local level as we commit ourselves to working together to address the homelessness and affordable housing crisis, not just in the region, but throughout the state of California. It's places like this and projects like this that allow us to know that we are living up to the belief that there is dignity in housing and that housing is a human right, not just a privilege for the few. So as we speak, there are more than 653,000 people experiencing homelessness in the United States, including over 181,000 here in the state of California. We know that there is a shortage of 7.3 million affordable homes in the country. So the stakes are indeed high. But we also know that California once again leads the way on creative solutions. Every day that we hear another heartbreaking story of a veteran experiencing homelessness or an LGBTQ plus youth experiencing homelessness, we know we have more work to do, let alone stories of families that may be just one missed paycheck away from finding themselves experiencing homelessness. But we also see innovative strategies like Project Homekey, converting old motels into new long-term housing units. So the problem isn't what are the ideas out there, what could be the solution. The problem boils down to scale. We know how to help, but we need the full weight of the federal government to meet the moment. So today I'm proud to announce the reintroduction of my bill, the Housing4All Act, to finally treat these crises with the seriousness that they deserve. My bill calls for historic federal investments to scale up more of the creative solutions that cities and counties and states have already deployed successfully. And here in Los Angeles, I consider it Exhibit A. In Mayor Bass's first year in office, more than 21,000 Angelenos were taken off the streets and put into housing. Solutions that increase the affordable housing supply by expanding programs like the Housing Trust Fund, the Home Program, or supportive housing for the elderly or disabled friends and neighbors, providing more rental assistance and housing choice vouchers to families in need, support to keep people housed with eviction protection funding, motel and hotel conversion, and crisis intervention teams, and more. And because we know that the affordable housing crisis disproportionately impacts communities of color, my bill would establish a commission to focus on racial equity in housing. Now, there's a reason that we have the support of so many local issues from throughout the state of California, alongside major national, state, and local homelessness and housing organizations. Again, it's because we look to them for the solutions, and we're trying to provide the resources for scaling that up. They have the tools, and now we need the federal government to step up and meet the scale of this crisis. And with that, let me introduce my friend, my colleague, the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, the Honorable Karen Bass.
Thank you very much, Senator Padilla. I can't think of a better way to start a morning than seeing a new facility, and this is a beautiful facility of housing for people who were formerly unhoused. And I think it's an opportunity for Angelenos to understand people who are unhoused wind up in those circumstances for a variety of reasons. One of the fastest growing sectors of the unhoused population are our elders, seniors who maybe worked in retail their whole life, didn't have a 401k, didn't have a pension. Social Security really will not pay for anything in Los Angeles, and they wind up unhoused. Hopefully this will help people understand that facilities like this should be built all over our city. I'm honored to stand here with my two colleagues, Senator Padilla and Congressman Lieu, who I had the honor of serving in Congress with for several years. And I think what you are seeing today is an example of us continuing to lock arms across every level of government. This bill would invest in federal programs that have a proven track record. The point is that we know how to solve this problem. So their leadership says the federal government is not going to say, this is the program that you must do. The federal government says, we know that you know how to address this problem and we want to support your efforts. Last year, I was selected to chair the U.S. Conference of Mayors Task Force on Homelessness. And in April, I'll be leading a group of mayors on a trip to Washington, D.C. to advocate for key components of this legislation, which includes investing in housing choice vouchers and project-based rental assistance. These are critical to addressing homelessness and ensuring unhoused Angelenos have the services they need. This crisis is not going to be solved at one level of government. This crisis is going to be solved with all levels of government and the private sector coming to the table and saying everybody in Los Angeles has to have skin in the game. So I want to thank our congressional leaders for their consistency in advocating for this issue, and we're going to continue advocating until it's on President Biden's desk for a signature. Thank you.
Our next speaker, U.S. Representative from the western part of Los Angeles, Congressman Ted Lieu.
Thank you. Good morning. Let me first thank Mayor Bass for excellent leadership of the great city of Los Angeles, and also to Senator Padilla for his terrific work on homelessness and immigration and other critical issues facing California and our nation. The reason you have local elected officials here and state officials and county officials and federal officials is because to tackle the issue of affordable housing and homelessness requires all levels of government to work together. This project here today is an example of that. It received significant federal funding, but it would not have happened with only federal funding. We needed a variety of other sources of funding as well as coordination with other local jurisdictions to make this facility happen. I'm so pleased to author the companion bill to Senator Padilla's Housing4All bill, and the bill in the House is also co-authored with my colleague Salud Carbajal, and I also want to thank Ranking Member Maxine Waters for her terrific work on housing in the House of Representatives. This year, we had a number of really good economic reports. We had a blowout jobs report last month, far above expectations. We know consumer sentiment is rising, wages are going up, and the Dow Jones set a record, 38,000 for the first time in U.S. history. If you have a retirement account or an education savings plan, your accounts are higher now than they were 4 years ago. At the same time, we know costs and prices are high, including housing. And that's why we need to get this bill passed into law. It does three things. It addresses the affordable housing shortage. It also addresses homelessness, and it provides funding for creative solutions to local jurisdictions to deal with both affordable housing and the homelessness crisis. And again, I want to thank Senator Padilla and Mayor Bass and all the officials here for working on this important issue of homelessness and affordable housing, and look forward to getting this bill signed into law.
Please welcome from the Business, Consumer Services, and Housing Deputy Secretary for Homelessness, Dakshike Wikrama. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Padilla, for that introduction. On behalf of Governor Newsom, the administration, and my boss, Secretary Moss, who sends her greetings, thank you, Senator Padilla, for your continued diligence to seek out ways the federal government can partner with and support the state and local governments to create affordable housing for all. As has been said before, but it's worth repeating, it will take all levels of government working together in partnership with our non-governmental partners to sustain this effort. And the multi-jurisdictional representation we have today is indicative that the matter of helping our unhoused neighbors access safe, affordable, stable housing is top of mind. Thanks to Governor Newsom and the legislature, we are committed to expanding housing that is equitable, affordable, and accessible to all Californians. Home Key, which funded the 84 affordable homes at this site, is one innovative example that the Senator and the Congressman has mentioned of how California continues to expand housing as part of the Governor's vision for reducing and ending homelessness. A vision that is effectuated through the excellent work of the state's Department of Housing and Community Development, also known as HCD. Congratulations to Mayor Bass and Hackler for this great example of how the state can work together with the federal government, cities, counties, tribes, and housing authorities to build more housing that is affordable for years to come. To date, just announced last week, Home Key has funded over 15,000 homes in 250 projects across California. And these projects will serve almost 170,000 residents over the duration of the 55-year affordability term of these apartments. And they will remain affordable to low-income and formerly homeless Californians. So thank you for all your partnership on that. The housing that is produced in every community thanks to Home Key will be a key measure of how quickly our unhoused neighbors can access stable housing that they can afford for the long term with the supportive services on site that they need to remain stably housed. We look forward to continue to work closely with the federal government and all our other local and community partners to harness collective resources and capitalize on collective ideas so that we can bring forth a future that allows all Californians to imagine and achieve a stable place to call home. And it is now my pleasure to introduce California State Association of Counties Executive Committee member, Supervisor Luis Alejo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. Buenos dias. A beautiful day in Los Angeles, and I want to thank our esteemed leader on this issue, Deputy Secretary Wickrama, for all her work at the state level. I want to appreciate the opportunity to be here with Senator Padilla, my former colleague in the state legislature, to be here today to partner to address the homelessness crisis facing our state. My name is Luis Alejo. I'm a member of the leadership team of the California State Association of Counties. I'm also a Monterey County supervisor and the chair of our homelessness continuum of care board for Monterey and San Benito counties. Our association, which represents all 58 counties in California, is extremely pleased to endorse the Housing4All Act. In Monterey County, in places like the beautiful Salinas Valley, the Salad Bowl of the world, our local governments are working closer than ever to continue to reduce homelessness on a regional basis. But our greatest challenge is finding affordable places to house those in need in our communities. The California State Association of Counties stood with Senator Padilla 2 years ago when he first introduced the Housing4All Act, and we are grateful to see it reintroduced. Last year, our association developed and released the At-Home Plan, which details the creation of comprehensive homelessness response system for California that addresses all aspects of the crisis, from prevention to housing to services. Our At-Home Plan also outlines that the federal government, the state government, and our local governments must all work together in a coordinated manner. The Housing4All Act takes a similar approach that will strengthen the federal role in responding to homelessness. The Act will invest in an array of programs that would support the development of affordable housing, provide immediate assistance to those experiencing homelessness, and support innovative local programs to help transition individuals to permanent housing. All counties are currently developing comprehensive regional homelessness plans to coordinate and build upon the existing efforts. The investments from this act can greatly expand what is possible at the local level. When combined with the record investments made by Governor Newsom and the efforts of all 58 counties and our local partners, the Housing for All Act will be an integral part of the solution to reducing homelessness and creating more affordable housing throughout the state of California. Thank you, Senator Padilla, for your strong and bold leadership and your ongoing efforts and partnerships with CSAC, and we look forward to working with you to make sure that the Housing for All Act is passed. With that, I want to introduce Doug Guthrie, the CEO of the Housing Authority of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it, and thanks for all of you coming out here today. And thanks especially to Senator Padilla, my Congressman Ted Lieu, and of course Mayor Bass, who's brought an enormous amount of energy, enthusiasm, and creativity to the job of being mayor here in the city of Los Angeles. Now, HACLA, as we're known, is the owner of this building. We have the state to thank for resources put up by Governor Newsom. We've now had 3 rounds of what's called Project Home Key. And that was an opportunity to provide resources from the state, coupled with local and federal resources, to produce housing for the homeless population on a much more rapid basis. And so HACLA took the lead in purchasing buildings just like this. We have now purchased 40 buildings like this in the last 2.5 years, and about 2,500 units altogether, and I think about $800 million worth of acquisition, in some cases rehab costs, and we will continue to do so. I think has been said by every speaker, this is a collaborative effort. It takes a lot of people to get this done at the federal level, at the state level, at the local level, from a legislative standpoint, from an operational standpoint, our nonprofit partners that are out there, the mental health providers, the social service providers that accompany all these buildings, a lot of coordination, and thanks to Senator Padilla, as well as a companion bill by Congressman Ted Lieu, it identifies the resources and commitments that are made to do this sort of much needed work. And like I say, it's all of the above. We particularly utilize Section 8 vouchers through the Housing Authority. We have what's called project-based Section 8 vouchers in this building, and so we've got a 55-year commitment and a contract commitment of Section 8 resources that really cover the operating costs for buildings like this. We need more of that, much more of that, and so we appreciate the efforts that are underway to secure that. So once again, thanks to all the parties that are up here for the hard work that they're doing on this really important issue for the state of California and the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Before we open up to questions, just 2 final points. One, a big thank you. I failed to mention it earlier. A big thank you to Congressmember Ted Lieu for leading his colleagues on the House version of this bill. But it's not a coincidence. One of the many things that Congressmember Lieu and I have in common is we started in local government. We served together in the state government. And now we're partners in Congress. Again, indicative of the acknowledgement, the recognition that all levels of government have to work together to really tackle this issue. And lastly, just a few quick words in Spanish, then we'll open up for questions. Estamos aquí para celebrar la reintroducción de mi proyecto de ley Viviendas para Todos. Sabemos los asuntos, no solo aquí en Los Ángeles, pero en todas las áreas del Estado y del país, de tantas personas sin viviendas y tantas familias al riesgo de estar en la misma situación sin el apoyo necesario. Estamos aquí unidos, representantes del gobierno federal, estatal y gobiernos locales, colaborando bajo este proyecto de ley y celebrando los ejemplos de los éxitos de cuando trabajamos juntos, cómo ofrecer más oportunidades, más viviendas y más apoyo para personas y familias en necesidad. Muchísimas gracias.